Hey, I'm Nick Byrne, welcome to Pocket News for Thursday the 15th of September. Today on the show, Sony layoffs and young love. So something good happened? Alright, here's what's been making headlines, and first up, there's been a slew of Sony layoffs across the globe. First hit was the VR development team at London studio. They just wrapped up work on the PlayStation VR compilation, which will launch with the VR hardware this October, so it's not really a surprise that Sony would downsize the team. It's unclear how many people were let go, but according to website gi.biz, some senior staff lost their jobs. It's all pretty standard business practice, but things were a little more unprofessional at the San Diego studio. The developers of MLB The Show were hit with layoffs, and the world found out through UI designer Noah Watkins. He tweeted, "Well, our entire team was just laid off here at the PlayStation studio here in San Diego. Anyone looking for a UI artist designer?" Watkins later clarified that it wasn't in fact the entire team who were let go, and Sony has since stressed that the MLB series is unaffected by the layoffs. They released a statement saying, quote, "We can confirm there has been a reduction in headcount at San Diego studio. The teams at MLB The Show, Drawn to Death, and Guns Up have not been affected." Let's hope Watkins and co find new jobs soon, but maybe not at Ubisoft just yet, because they are working very hard to prevent the potential Vivendi takeover. In 2 weeks' time, at the publisher's annual shareholders meeting, a new board of directors will be elected, which could open the door to Vivendi seizing control of the company. The fear is that Vivendi's old school business practices will prevent the company from experimenting and restrict them to safe bets like their mainline series. I know what you're thinking, we already get an Assassin's Creed and a Far Cry and a Tom Clancy and a Watch Dogs every other year, and they're all sort of dull and homogenized, and you're right. But to be fair to Ubisoft, they're actually quite good at diversifying. The Division was a huge risk for the company, which turned out to be a not entirely crappy MMO shooter. They've given creative freedom to people like Matt Stone and Trey Parker in bringing South Park to games in an entertaining and faithful way. And they've brought worthy, smaller experiences to people in the likes of Valiant Hearts and the Modern Trials games and Grow Home. So as much as we love to rag on Ubisoft, the industry would actually be much worse off without their explorative flair. We'd just be left with EA and Activision, and the video game axis would be undone. In order to convince investors to vote against Vivendi in electing a board, they've started weare.ubisoft.com, which highlights some of the key successes achieved under the current operating managers. In establishing how big the company has become, it notes that Ubisoft has 10,000 employees from 94 different countries working in 32 different studios across the world. So you probably don't realize this, but most of you actually work for Ubisoft. It will be interesting to see what happens in 2 weeks' time, and if the takeover does happen, if anything will change. In the meantime though, Ubisoft have been buying goodwill from the public. The publisher celebrated 30 years as a company in June, and since then they've been giving away free games on PC through Uplay. This month you can pick up The Crew for free, so maybe they're not buying that much goodwill. Next up, and DayZ creator Dean Hall has teased his next new project. One at a time, Dean, and finish them off. So it's not the VR shooter thing, and it's not that space embryo thing. It's new. Speaking to Eurogamer, Hall revealed that his studio Rocketworks had been given a stack of money to start working on an original AAA title. Dean, if I may, no one likes a gloater. The investor was Chinese gaming giant Tencent, the group who own a stake in nearly everything you love, from Activision Blizzard to Supercell. Hall didn't reveal much about the new game, but said that, quote, "it's multiplayer," and pointed out that his studio aims to find success in, quote, "carving out new territory in terms of new multiplayer genres or repurposing different parts of other genres." Or if Dean Hall's history repeats itself, repurposing entire other games and then building something fun within that. But never finishing. We'll see what happens, but not before we see Thing of the Day. Alright, here's what's been mentioned. Below today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by Connor Masters. Really putting in the effort there, Connor. Although, for some reason, I'm strangely not any better thing. Remember being this excited about playing video games? John doesn't. news today, my Pocketeers, and I actually lied about John not having fun in video games, as you will see this afternoon on our YouTube channel when John and I played FIFA 17's demo and actually had a lot of giggly fun, didn't we, Johnny? John agrees. If you want someone to watch that with, join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group, full of gigglers, and there are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was a response to a previous comment by me about his Thing of the Day graphic, Connor Masters, who doesn't even have the courage to compose his own music. All right, until we next December, my Pocketeers, Nick, bye out. Mwah! See, this is the part where you think I'm gonna say something nice about Connor. The Lord of the Rings games. So one came out, the first game that came out was based on the book, and then the next two games, EA put out and they were based on the films.
Yeah.
Which is a little, I would say shitty.
Well, because I think they wanted to be able to use the character models that looked like the characters.
You want to bank off that Aragon face.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Very bankable.
Yeah, very bankable face.